maybe give it a couple more weeks and maybe we talk about the Ravens being up here. Maybe.
I'm honestly fine with them not being in here because after this last week, I think I cursed my top 3.
I think everybody did, if I'm going to be completely honest.
It's not a good time.
Welcome back to the James and Dame Show. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Will.
And today we're going over Week 9 Power Rankings. Right?
Yes, Week 9 Power Rankings. After
I was hoping we were doing that.
quite more interesting. Last week we had blowouts except for one game. This week,
Yeah.
I think we only had like 3 games that weren't really close down to the wire and super stressful. Luckily, mine was one of them. So,
Well, yeah.
that was
I'm
nice.
kidding.
But getting into power rankings, obviously, we can start off with honorable mentions just to kick things off before we get to the official top 10. But I'm already kicking it off on an interesting note. I still have the 49ers as an honorable mention because beat the Giants, whatever. And the Green Bay Packers as an honorable mention because ugly loss to the Panthers, and on top of that, Tucker Kraft is gone for the rest of the year. And from what I've seen, that's most of their passing offense. And apparently without him, their offense really, really struggled. Defense still good. It's still a good team, but right now your offense did not look good without Tucker Kraft out there. And so mixed with an ugly loss, I dropped them a bit. I'll also add just the top 10 right now is really good. So lots of room to drop them.
So apparently I'm in your head too much. So also for my honorable mentions, I have the 49ers, obviously, because they're still somehow kicking it after how many injuries to them. God strikes them down so many times, they still get back up. I don't know how they're doing it. The Packers, quite literally for that same reason. Will, please stop stealing my ideas.
I had these notes beforehand.
And I did too. And then obviously mentioning like the Steelers and the Chargers as well. Just kind of throwing them in there. Obviously with the Chargers losing Joel Alt, kind of a bummer. Steelers, we'll get to you in a second. Oh boy. So number 10, I have a New England Patriots. The reason being, there's a lot of shifting in the league. Like you said, it's very easy to drop out of the top 10, especially right now. I don't know what the NFL is doing right now, but it's very hard to choose who the top 10 is, or at least consistently on a week-to-week basis. New England Patriots are still going to be in the top 10. They're 7-2, currently leading the freaking AFC East like it's back in the early 2010s. I don't know what you want me to say about them except they're 7-2. Yes, cupcake schedule, I get that. But even if they barely beat the Falcons, I mean, the Falcons beat themselves. Let's be completely honest here. Drake May still developing. A little sluggish this game. Didn't have that great of a day. Falcons are very hard to read in general, so I didn't know what kind of Falcons we were going to get. I did say this would have been a trap game. It almost ended up being a trap game. It almost ended up being a trap game.
It was a very close game, and there's a few things to it. Obviously, just Drake May not even being the best Drake out there today
London.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patriots really what they're showing to me is just kind of a sense of they're one-dimensional on offense.
They are very one-dimensional, and I was gonna mention that, yeah.
And that's what the Falcons capitalized on is they have a really good pass defense.
Yes,
And we saw
probably.
that. But it's also that Drake May, again, is elevating these guys. And I think that is part of the reason they're up there. It's Drake May elevating his guys to way beyond the level they should be succeeding at.
Yeah.
And Mike Vrabel just also being a very good coach. That's just a lot of what this is.
Yeah.
I will say, Patriots defense has not allowed a rusher over 50 yards all year.
It's true, and that was going to be something to mention as well. Yeah, Mike Vrabel, he's a good coach. I don't know what you want him to do more of. He just kind of brought this team back up into their glory days a bit. Drake May, obviously a lot of room to improve, but he is still very raw. He's still very talented. He has a deep ball, pretty accurate deep ball for that. I did mention this. I don't know if it was in a live stream or in an episode, but Drake May, he was being sacked more this year than last year, which is very surprising. However, I still think he's making up for that with his ability to, make a little bit better pocket awareness. I've rambled too much about my 10. Yeah, what's your 10?
Oh, I mean, okay. So part of the reason why I was enabling it is mine is also the Patriots at number 10. So, yeah, that's why I was reinforcing it I also have the Patriots up at 10. I had them right on the edge the past few weeks. Some things moved around. They edged out a win against a Falcons team that isn't bad but isn't consistent. And so, again, some weeks they come out, they run the ball really well. They're able to stop the run, and again, they've had best pass defense in the league. Michael Penix, when he's there, definitely makes it better, but Drake London, beyond that, I have thoughts about Michael Penix and what Drake London does for him, but Drake London clearly makes that team, that offense, especially that passing offense, much better. So while they're not winning a lot of games right now, they are doing things they're doing enough to be somewhat respectable to beat. Moving on to number 9.
So for number 9, this one's been kind of shelved around a little bit in my mind. I'm only going to keep the Buccaneers here at 9 because they just didn't play this week, and that's about it. I mean, they're still a good team. I mean, people moved above them, but that's about it, really.
Interesting. This is where I had the Buccaneers last week.
This is true.
And they did come off of a bye. Or they were on a bye.
They were on a bye, yes.
Logically, it would make sense for me to have the Buccaneers here.
Yeah. They only moved down for me because there were teams that moved up and who had played.
Yeah.
That's quite literally it.
Again, I don't have the Buccaneers here just because, again, teams moved around. Who I actually have here is Kansas City Chiefs.
Interesting.
I think the Chiefs are still in pretty good form, but I just, again, like we've seen, they're more fun this year. That is for sure. They're not like
one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's not ugly wins. It's like they're playing well and they're like annoyingly so, but somewhat fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's not just like pure willing themselves to win. Like they're playing well. Most of the time. Patrick Mahomes, he's like, some people have him as like a potential MVP caliber quarterback.
And then he had this game.
And it shows like some of the things. He's been a little inconsistent. Like when he's on, he's on. He's, vintage Patrick Mahomes. But we see sometimes in these games where he just isn't performing at that same level, and we see kind of what we've seen the past few years where it's a little bit more inconsistent, some not so great decisions. And I mean, the past few years you have the excuse of where is receivers. He has all his receivers now. So,
Yep.
I mean, maybe you look at Nagy, and that maybe is part of the reason why. But Chiefs, it's again, you lost to the Bills. Bills are a very good team. They look straight back. They look straight back to form. So I'm not knocking them too much on that alone, but I am knocking them on the again inconsistencies with Mahomes, a little bit with that defense, and also you're still winless in one-score games, and that is probably gonna have to change for you to succeed in the playoffs.
No.
Which
Please
again,
don't change.
it's the Chiefs. We know this. Like, if they make it to the playoffs, they'll fix that if they need to fix it. If
Regular season and playoffs, Chiefs are two different entities.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
I'm betting things will change, but right now, based off the play,
It's something.
I have them down to 9.
Number 8. So, like I said, people have shifted. This is where I have the Chiefs. So you just had them a spot lower. So, yeah, it was a very ugly performance from Patrick Mahomes. No touchdowns, an interception, and it was a rough day. And the Bills' defense showed up. They had a great defense that day for some reason. Apparently, they were just like, oh, here's the Chiefs. Now we're going to play really well. I think, like you said earlier, it was just they needed the bye week to kind of fix some stuff or figure things out. And it looks like they have. So with the win against the Chiefs, it kind of motivates them going into later this season. Yeah, I mean, Chiefs, you have not a super tough schedule, but you do have a few bumps in the road on the way to the playoffs. So you're going to have to right the ship and turn things around because you're sitting at 5-4.
In a pretty competitive conference and division.
And division alone. So you're still a game behind, was it Chargers, and then 2 games behind the Broncos.
And you're still behind you're on the outside looking in right now, behind the Jaguars.
Oh, that's true. Oh, my gosh. They're not even in the playoff picture this time. That's crazy.
They're going to have to battle their way back in. And they have to earn their spot back in right now.
Oh,
it's much less of a gimme. My number 8, surprise, surprise, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, my gosh.
I literally, I just moved the Chiefs below the Buccaneers because right now, I mean, I have to see what the Buccaneers look like coming off of their bye because going into the bye, it wasn't the prettiest. They struggled a couple weeks in a row, but looking at comparing them to the Chiefs, I think this year they've had a lot of that upside as long as they get out of that rut that again, the Bills had that rut.
Yes, very much
so. As long as they avoid that some teams have, or get out of it after this bye, I like them above the Chiefs because I still think Baker playing if he gets back to the form he was, I like him over Mahomes. I like that offense over the Chiefs, even though as much as the Chiefs is exciting, it doesn't get the job done as much. And again, Buccaneers have finished games strongly. They've done a very good job of winning these, pulling out these close games at the end where the Chiefs haven't. And to me, that's just a value of a good team that, Chiefs last year, they had it. This year, not as much.
Not so much.
And Bucks do have it, so I'm giving them a nod.
All right, number 7. Poor team. The Lions are at number 7.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was a stinker. So what was it? This stat that I just found. When the Lions run for 100 yards, they're undefeated. When they don't, they lose all their games. So all their games have been determined if they can break 100 yards or not on the ground. They did not against the Vikings, obviously. The Vikings came to play that day. So I think that's just more about the Vikings more than the Lions, I'd say, out of that game. But at the same time, you were without Joseph, at least him on the defense. I don't think there were any other major injuries I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, just having him gone kind of just, I don't know, bumps the defense down a little bit. But even then, are you really going to stop JJ and Jay Jettas? I guess.
I mean,
So-
yeah, Vikings, this particularly the defense showed up to play, and that's it's a tough thing to go against because we know that Vikings team has a lot of upside from what we've seen last year, and yeah, like sure they're missing a few pieces, but you still have a Brian Flores defense, and that's not fun to go against. So yeah, I can see the drop. I am surprised by how big of a drop it was, but
Yeah,
my
I mean, there are teams that are moving up.
I
so-
understand that. My number 7 though, they were on a bye, so they didn't really move. I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
But
Again, like they I need to see more to prove. I need them to prove more to move up.
Mhm.
You're not gonna do that on a bye.
yeah,
They did make some moves
they did.
in like prior to the trade deadline, which like this is one of those weeks where it's like it's not just play that's going to move you. Some of these teams do move based off of moves that have been made, and they're kind of one of them where like the concern was offense. I feel like with them, and
Oh, yeah.
they corrected by making some additions on defense with Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, and Michael Carter, and
Yeah.
I don't know how he likes to make moves. So
Yes, he does.
Uh,
yes, he does.
I like the Eagles at 7. Again, I want to see a little bit more of that team playing and seeing how much back to that Super Bowl form they can get. See if Saquon can, repeat what he did the last game he played.
Yeah.
But, they're not going to move coming off a bye.
Number 6. Eagles.
Yeah, I got that.
Yes. So literally the same points. Bye week. Not going to judge them. 6-2.
My number 6, I kind of wanted to move them higher, but I couldn't move them over the people that were there. And also, to be fair, the quality of the win is questionable after what we saw. I have the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
So again, they were number 10 last week for me. I wanted to move them up more, but again, there's a lot of really good teams this year.
Yes. It's very. There are really bad teams and there's really good teams this year. There's not a lot of in the middle teams, right?
And the other thing is like there's really good teams, but I don't have like there's not a clear like 1 and 2.
No, there really
like,
isn't.
It's like a bunch of really good teams, and that's the top. Is like it's 1 through like 11 or 12 are like really good teams,
And then everyone kind of falls off the face
But-
of the earth.
but there's no like super team that sits at the top. The Chiefs are not super dominant. The Eagles are not super dominant. Like we don't have these teams that are just sitting comfortably at the top. As like things have shifted, a lot of people don't even have the same number 1 this week as last week
Yeah.
because things shifted. But Seahawks, I have them at 6 because you played a really good game. Your offense was very complete. Your defense played very well.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was obviously Commanders did not show a good game. They got injured,
Yes.
and you go out and get Rashid Shaheed, add to an already scary offense where, JSN has had 100 yards for 4 or 5 consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp comes back sometime soon. He's older,
soon.
but yeah.
He's a veteran presence.
He is a veteran presence.
You
Horton
like him.
stepped up pretty big. Like that offense is really scary, and the 1-2 dynamic of Walker and Charbonnet. Whereas if Walker's healthy, that's a really scary duo, and then you just can't count out the fact that Sam Darnold has been playing. He played a perfect first half.
First half, like that's the best first half we've seen since. Was it Brady in 2010?
Very good game just overall.
Oh yeah.
So Seahawks, you move up, you keep doing it. You're gonna keep moving up, but
Yes.
right now, like the consistency of the teams above you is why it stopped right outside the top 5.
Number 5. This is where I have Seattle. Basically same points. Great performance, offense and defense. I should have picked Horton in fantasy. I still won both leagues, which is fine, but I should have picked him because he went crazy. It was a JSN, obviously. What is it? They pulled him like what, third quarter, whatever it was. Like he got all those points, and they were just like,
Yeah, he basically only played like 3 quarters.
yeah, not even 3 quarters. Sam Darnold continues to prove that he's probably one of the best quarterbacks consistently.
This year,
This
yes.
year, yes. So he's making a lot of people eat their words at the moment. Obviously, we're only halfway through the season. There's a lot of season left. So we'll see what they got to do. And then, like you said, you're always concerned about the end of the season, especially with this last year with the Vikings, how he didn't show up the last 3 games. But it's a new season, new Darnold, maybe.
At number 5, I have the Denver Broncos. I think I had him at number 5 last week too. It wasn't the prettiest win, but they show up again in the fourth quarter, which is what they've done so well. Is just, I think it was an 11-point swing in the fourth quarter. I think they went from 15-7 to 18-15 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was a pretty
But
claw behind victory.
again, it's also like the Texans. Most people I don't feel like are talking about how good that defense is.
Yeah, because it's the offense that's just very disappointing. But
Yeah, the team in general has not played well, but that defense has been.
defense is crazy.
It's a really good defense, and like they didn't break this defense, but they did go out and manage to like put together the scoring drives they need. Most of the game didn't look great. Bo Nix wasn't the prettiest, but then again, like watching them in the fourth quarter, like Bo Nix made some really good throws. Troy Franklin made an amazing catch. There's a pass from Bo Nix to Troy Franklin that I just loved to watch. I watched it about 3 times on repeat, and I was like, that's the one. That's
the one.
That's nice.
But
Like the Broncos, again, their defense still really good. This
Yeah.
offense comes together when they need to, and they have a winning streak going that, I mean, most of these teams have pretty solid winning streaks going, but it's the way the Broncos are playing, consistently really good fourth quarter football. I like that. It's not 4 quarters, and that's why it's only down at 5, but
yeah, kind of going into number 4. This is where I have the Broncos. Broncos are just a really solid team. I haven't seen many teams as complete compared to the top few teams that we have, or at least I have in my rankings, because they don't really have many glaring holes besides the fact that they don't play all 4 quarters. I think the moment they do, that's a very scary team and could easily be number 1 if they really tried. So that's why I'm just like, they're not 1, but they're definitely top 5. I can't keep them out of the top 5.
Absolutely.
If anybody drops them out of the top 5, you're crazy.
Right.
You can't deny the fact that a 7-2 Broncos team with Bo Nix, who has made me eat my words time and time again, the fact that defense is phenomenal, several fourth quarter comebacks, 33 points against the Giants. That alone is crazy. I don't know. It's the Broncos' season to win the AFC West right now, and in my opinion, they're gonna win it if they don't mess up this next few games.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, again, it's the level of complete football where it's like you're gonna if they can consistently play that fourth quarter football all game, you're like the number 1 team easily.
number 1,
But
obviously.
if you start not even getting, if you start not even having that fourth quarter and you have the first three quarters, just the entire, if that becomes your identity, that team starts to drop because,
and then people can game plan around that.
yeah,
Easily.
It's the difference between that like first three quarters versus the fourth quarter. It's just what you can do consistently is the difference between a Broncos team that could potentially go all the way and it could be like first round disappointments.
Oh, yes.
My number 4, I didn't drop them as far. I have the Detroit Lions. Yes, it wasn't a pretty game.
No.
It was sloppy for the Lions.
It was very sloppy.
They kept it close in a divisional game. And that is a lot of what I'm getting. And again, the Vikings also, like, they've been kind of inconsistent on defense, but that defense showed up. It's a Brian Flores defense, which is not easy to go against.
No.
And
that's why I dropped them a little bit. And it's not that they're not a top 5 team. It's just the one time they do lose is everyone else who bumped up performed well. It's nothing against the Lions. I like the Lions. It's just for this week they just drop out of the top 5 for some reason. Definitely top 10.
I still have them as like the 4th best team in the league. It's just kind of this thing where I with how this last week went, they were a potential contender for that like top spot because
easily.
But again, like with the loss and the sloppiness and like the blocked punt or not the blocked punt, the blocked kick, field goal kick,
yep.
And the kind of sloppy play from Montgomery, it has a little bit of concerns, and it kind of reinforces that like they're not consistently playing as a top team. When they are hot, they're one of the best teams, if not the best team. But they don't do it consistently, which is why I have them down at 4.
For number 3, these top 3 make me want to go insane. I have the Rams here in number 3. It's literally the same thing I'm going to say to every single team that's not number 1. Like they would be. Like every team that isn't number 1 could also be number 1. It's just I don't know who to put at number 1. Like you've been stating a couple times. It's just there's just a lot of good teams this year, and I appreciate the fact that we have a little bit of variety. But there's no number 1 super team that we're just like, oh yeah, they're definitely number 1 this year. The only reason why the Rams are number 3 is because I don't know. I feel a little bit better about the 2 in front of them. That's probably the only reason. Matthew Stafford, was it 4 touchdown passes against who were they playing again? The Saints.
The Saints.
Yeah, the Saints are the Saints. I get that, but come on, Matthew Stafford is playing well. Nakua's playing well. Devontae Adams is playing well. That defense is looking better and better by the week. I don't know. When Stafford's healthy, you can't count him out. That's the only thing I can say. And honestly, I'm curious to see who wins the NFC West because it could very well easily be the Rams. The Seahawks are making a very quiet push for that number 1 spot real fast if they're not paying attention very well. But the Rams have the lead in that division, in my opinion.
My number 3.
Okay.
I went with the Colts. And it's not just because like, oh, a drop or a loss will drop you. That game was a lot more of a blowout than it looks like on paper.
On paper, it didn't look like a blowout, but
at
some point, it was like a 24-7 lead.
It was an ugly game for the Colts, and especially Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
6 total turnovers on offense for the Colts. Couldn't really get the run game going as much. That D line for the Steelers really blew up the Colts.
Now they decided to show up for once after I told them that they were terrible this year.
Yeah, I mean, and we know the level of talent they have.
They just don't perform consistently, and that's why I can't. That's why I don't trust them.
like it's not even just T.J. Watt. It was
everybody.
Anyone who was lined up as a down lineman was just having their way with Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones, all he could do is just stand there and go, "Oh no!" Like he threw it 50 times. Yes, Daniel Jones had over 300 yards, but when you throw 50 times, that's not super surprising. 3 interceptions. Like they made him look like old Daniel Jones. I'm not gonna jump on the train of where he's going back to that, but
people are so quick to flip narratives.
It's not a good look, and also the thing that kind of woke me up is the fact that the Colts had a really easy schedule up to this point, and now they're going into a really tough schedule the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So
and I'm curious to see how good this team actually is going into this.
And
this was their first real test. I mean, you're playing at Pittsburgh. It's not a very friendly environment for away teams, so
it
it's hard
absolutely
to win.
is like a trap game.
It was a trap game, and they fell right for it. So, and to be completely fair, they were going to drop a game sometime soon.
Yeah,
They just happened to be Pittsburgh. So
and
kudos to Pittsburgh anyway.
I'm not dropping them because of the loss. I'm not losing. And that's not because they lost. It's because reevaluating strength of schedule, but also just the way they lost was ugly. And
say that again.
The other thing is like their secondary is going to be a lot better. Yeah, it's Sauce Gardner. You have Ward. You have Kenny Moore, and you're adding that on top of a defense that's already been really good this year. And even though it's been really good, it's still your weaker side because your offense has been really good too.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, you also got rid of Adonai Mitchell, which is like, personally, I think is a good move. I was not a fan of him. I was not a fan of the way he was playing. So I think Colts, like, you get better, but you show some concerns. It's just I'm gonna have to see how they look going forward the next few weeks to see if they keep dropping, they stay, or maybe they move back up to that number 1 spot. I think they can still earn that 1 spot back.
So for my number 2 is the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, I mean, you lost to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, so I'm not too surprised by all that. I mean, it sucks, but this is kind of due at that point. Daniel Jones, obviously, we've mentioned that already. Not a great game. You said 3 interceptions is what he had?
3
interceptions, 6 total turnovers. It was not the Colts' day. Obviously, they can bounce back after this week, but like you said, they're going into the toughest part of their schedule. So we'll see how good that team actually is compared to the first 8 weeks.
My number 2 very well could have been my number 1. To be fair, all 4 of my top 4 could have been number 1. I'm going to have the Buffalo Bills here because they played really well. They were complete football. Defense played really well. Maxwell Harrison locked down.
Hairston got an interception.
He's
He's been asking for that one for a while.
He's played really well. I liked his debut, and I liked him coming out of college. But the Bills' defense was disruptive. Obviously, Chiefs' offense is very electric, so performing at the level they did, hats off to them. Offense was able to perform. Josh Allen kind of woke up this week and stepped up.
A bit.
He stepped in pretty big. My only real reason why they're not number 1, because again, that number 1 spot was open after the Colts lost.
Yeah.
In the fashion that they did. The only reason why it wasn't the Bills, despite the fact that the reasons I'll have for who I have at number 1, the reason it's the Bills at number 2 is also I just want to see another week of it. Because it's like, yes, you've done it 3 straight weeks. I feel really good. I like they jumped up from, I had them at like 6 or 7. One, I don't remember exactly which one I had them at last week, but the ebbs and flows, I just like another week before I jump them. But also I think there's also some decent reason to have who I have at 1.
Unfortunately, I don't need another week. I think they are the best team in the league at the moment. That's who I have at number 1. This is the same crap we've been dealing with for like the last 4 years. They end up being one of the best teams in the league. They lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs, so I'm sticking with the script. They're they're number 1 because the NFL, I don't know. They're a good team. I mean, you have to give them credit to that. Like you mentioned, Hairston, phenomenal debut with an interception on Mahomes, the one interception on Mahomes. It was just also a very great defensive game on the Bills, and that's what you specifically were asking for, was the hope that they could fix that. It looks like they did for the most part. Granted, this is the Chiefs. They're rivals. Don't know if they just played a little bit more heart that time. We'll just have to see this next week. Hopefully they don't fumble this one, because if I remember correctly, they play Miami at Miami. So don't lose this game. Please don't make me regret my words. But yeah, I do think that they are the best team. Obviously, probably for different reasons than what you have at number 1.
My number 1, obviously, is it's the last team that really makes sense that hasn't been mentioned. Is going to be the Rams.
What?
And Rams, same amount of losses as the Bills, yes, but they did not slump the way the Bills did.
No.
They've been playing pretty consistent football. We've seen some weaknesses from when they played, obviously, the 49ers, but that's like a division game. And then they win against the Eagles when the Eagles were kind of still in like a pretty good form before they kind of hit their slump. So they're playing 2 good teams. Again, one of them a division rival. And other than those 2 games, they have been playing like one of the best teams in the league. Their defense has been pretty solid, and their offense is just very scary.
Yes.
But they've just, to me, been consistently good. Is the one thing that, like, I look at all these teams, and you know, if they consistently did this or if they consistently did this, they would be that top team. But they're not. Rams are the one team that, like, yes, they do have their 2 losses, but consistently, they have been that team to just consistently play good football. And we'll see how much better they got. They added Roger McCreary, obviously. See how much that helps that defense. They get Puka back, though. So getting Puka back makes that offense way better.
Oh,
if they can stay healthy, and a lot of people have mentioned this, is like nowadays, like the team that wins the Super Bowl isn't the team that is necessarily the best team. Like, it performs at the best all year or whatever. It's part of it is who is the healthiest. And right now the Rams are pretty healthy. And I also don't know if you noticed this, but I also do have Rams at 1 and Bills at 2, which, as I've said for the past few weeks,
This is your Super Bowl match.
this is my Super Bowl matchup. And I like this makes me feel much better, is that these 2 teams are kind of like potentially top 2 teams in that, I don't know.
Respective areas.
I'd love to actually see these 2 in a Super Bowl.
It could be very fun.
I think, again, right now, Rams and Bills are 2 of the best teams for, like, in the league for sure. They're in the mix with a lot of teams, but the way they played the last week has me feeling a lot better about these teams going forward. So that wraps up our power rankings.
It does indeed.
It was a week, exciting football, but also some upsets that mix things up. That does complete our power rankings. There's some similarities. Obviously, we have like the same teams.
Same teams, but in different order.
Some variation in some of the places. But yeah, I don't feel confident. I still can't feel confident about who's a top 5 team.
No, I don't either. I just sort of like, well, I feel good about this team. Yeet.
I'm just not allowed. We're just not allowed to. Maybe
This
next
is
week.
refreshing. Hey, honestly, this is refreshing. I like not knowing who's the best team.
Yeah, I enjoy when the NFL makes my job difficult at making power rankings, because it makes me
Makes you
think.
think. Will doesn't really think very often.
Me no
if you
think.
can't tell.
Me no think good. Thinking hurt brain. Not good time. Unga boonga no good.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us. See ya.
Bye.